Hey there guys, it's me Tom and you join me on the start of the second week of looking into Luke. Luke chapter 6. It's a big chapter, isn't it? There's all sorts of stuff that goes on and well, if we tried to cover everything, we would be here hours. So fortunately, you'll be glad to hear I'm just going to touch on one thing, and it's actually right at the end of the chapter. It's under that little header called the wise and foolish builders, and I'll read it out again just to remind us. It says, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say? As for everyone who comes to me and hears my words and puts them into practice, I will show you what they are like. They are like a man building a house who dug down deep and laid the foundation on rock. When a flood came, the torrent struck that house but could not shake it, because it was well built. But the one who hears my words and does not put them into practice is like a man who built a house on the ground without a foundation. The moment the torrent struck that house, it collapsed, and its destruction was complete." Jesus has said a whole load of other stuff this chapter, but he ends with this. And this is really important for us, especially for us who've been reading through Luke. I wonder how you respond to what you've read. That listening to him is not enough. Maybe you think, well, as long as I give the Bible a quick read, as long as I go to church and listen to what they've got to say a bit, or to YL, yeah, I hear the Christian bit. Yeah, that's me, tick the box with the Christian side, that's me okay. Jesus doesn't say that here. Jesus says the one who listens to him but doesn't put what he says into practice is like a fool. So we've not only got to listen to Jesus, but we've got to put what he says into practice. Now that can be hard, can't it, at times? You know, Jesus says this chapter some radical stuff about loving our enemies. You know, there's people in our lives who it can be difficult to love sometimes, can't it? And maybe you find that hard. But if we put into practice what Jesus is saying, if we put into practice his teaching in our lives, Jesus says we're wise. We're like the man who builds his house on the rock. You see, life, I don't know how you're finding it now, maybe with the whole COVID stuff you're finding it quite difficult. Let me tell you this, life is going to be difficult at times. In fact, life is going to be really difficult at times. We're going to go through storms in our life. Who are you going to be like? Are you going to be like the fool? Who, yeah, they listened to Jesus. They thought they were alright when they were listening to Jesus. But they didn't spend the time to put into practice anything that he'd said. They didn't spend the time to let it apply in their life, to let it transform their life, the words of Jesus. And well, when life got hard, when the storm came, well, they crumbled. They didn't last. Are you going to be like that man? Or are you going to be wise? Hey, here's what you can do with the rest of the chapter, because we didn't get to cover it. Be like the wise builder. Look into it in more detail and think, how can that apply in my life? How can I let that change and transform me this very week? If you put what Jesus says as the most important things in your life, then you'll be like a wise builder who builds his house on the rock. And when life does get hard, when it gets unbearably hard, when the storms come, you'll last. You'll cope. Why? Because you're stood on the foundation of Jesus.